Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. What more can you say? We are back at all-time highs again. Talk about that and just the continued buying pressure in this market. You can't stop it. You won't stop it. Aside from that, we have a lot of holiday retail sales numbers coming in. We've got sales results from Costco and Kohl's and L brand, so we'll run through those numbers. Grubhub is on the table exploring a possible sale. AT&T and Verizon going ex-dividend today. That's important. A couple earnings on our radar from after the close yesterday, and then there's one or two notable ones today. And our guest today, Marc Chaikin from Chaikin Analytics, he will join us at 8:15 as he does every other Thursday at that time. Joel, what is the word here overnight?
S&Ps are trading in the green by 8.5 handles. Pre-market high 32.74. Pre-market low 32.57.75. Crude rebounding from probably one of its wildest days in years, up 32 cents at 59.93. Gold in the red by 540 at 15.54.70. Silver trying to hold on to 18, down 15.7 cents at 18.01. Bitcoin back under 8,000, down $150 at 7,960. And I will say there's been some volume coming into those Bitcoin futures. I've been looking at it over the last couple of days. And Spencer, could you also just throw out the phone number there for anyone that we're two for two? We got a call on Tuesday, a call on Wednesday. Hopefully we'll get 2 phone calls today.
Yep. If you want to give us a call either during the show, anytime really, and leave us a voicemail and we'll discuss your question. We'll give it a listen. And if we like it, we'll discuss your question on the show. The number to call us at 734-494-0246. Give us a call, leave a voicemail, and we will potentially answer your question on the show. Now,
have you installed the line yet so we can just like have a live call in like the Jim Rome show?
I don't think we need that. I don't think.
I think we do.
Live call-ins.
We'll push for me and Joel. Push for that. We like a live call.
I need a way to screen them.
That's what he's a little bit worried about. Is somebody drops some language. We don't. We're not. We don't have the 5-second delay going.
Yeah, I need a way to screen those calls first. So.
Hey, Dennis, you look pretty cleaned up there.
No, I haven't even showered. Look at the hair. It's just because I put a collared shirt on. I try to put the collared shirt on to counter how, the lack of showering here in this crazy market environment.
All right, we got a lot to cover here before our 8:15 guest, Marc Chaikin of Chaikin Analytics. I don't know. There's just so much news here.
Start with Tesla.
Okay.
Let's start with Tesla. This stock is unbelievable. A few days ago, I think it was beginning of January, I said, I think this thing's going to 500. And I would say, I think it could do it by the end of the month. I mean, it's trying to do it by the end of the week. It's been unbelievable. 492 here now, it closed at. The thing gets 2 downgrades today. It's down $1. I mean, it doesn't even go down on downgrades. It's the most resilient. So we talk about how resilient this market is. This stock is the most resilient stock here now. So you get Baird downgrading the stock. You also get, I believe it was CLSA downgrading it as well. So you get a couple of downgrades here today. And market don't care. It's down $1, so I guess that's priced in. I mean, stock goes up 20 on no news, gets downgraded twice and goes down $1. I mean, this thing is just unbelievable. I actually tried to short it here this morning just on the downgrades. And I was like, no, it's not going down. It doesn't want to go down. I give up. I don't want to get caught because I do believe it is going to eventually trade 500, and it looks like it wants to do it by the end of the week. This stock is just unbelievable.
I did double downgrade here. I mean, guys, try this. I mean, I don't know why, but they are. just hanging out. I'm just going to give you the close from yesterday. I think that's like your only really relevant number. Well, also the high from yesterday. So let's keep an eye on that closing price of 492.14. I think with the double downgrade, if you can get green on that, find, tapping sellers up to 498.49, and then you think about that psychological $500.
Yeah, so first time up there, couldn't do it yesterday. It didn't get the running start. It's getting a running start here today with a couple downgrades. Maybe that gets a little bit selling in, but you got to just think how many shorts are just caught in this thing. And not only that, and it's conversation, we should have with Nick as well, but think about the call writers, people who wrote calls on this. Think about me. I wrote puts on it, so I was on the right side. If you were writing calls on this, like just think about the stock in October. It's trading at 250. You probably wrote the 350. You probably got some money for it, even like 2 months out. I don't know what they were going for, but I bet you're getting some money for those. Let's just say hypothetically you got like $10 for the 350. I don't even know if you would have got that much. The thing's at $500. I mean, if you wrote out, 3 months, you're 10 points and you didn't protect yourself, you could be down 150 points on those. So, it's not only the people who are short the stock, it's the option writers that probably are really, taking it on the chin here. And every time it pulls back a little bit, you get people who need to cover or who are getting maybe even potentially margin called on this thing. There was a lot of people who were bearish, and this is just your classic. It's been a squeeze for a long time, but it's a story too. And this is, something we talk about on the show so much. It doesn't matter. Yeah, the valuation, is it ridiculous? Probably. But valuation is meaningless when you've got a story cooking. And the story is still hot here. It got hot again, and it's remained hot for the last 3 months. Ever since they produced that profit in the quarter, it was the gap and go from 300 to 500. Congratulations to the Bulls. Jason Raznick, congratulations. I feel sorry for the Bears because they might eventually be right here, but it's just impossible to stay. It's just, like we say, Marc can stay irrational much longer than he can stay solvent. But there's just such a story here. And if we write, the book or we do the algorithm, the story matters more than technicals, matters more than fundamentals. If you've got a hot story, just like Beyond Meat for a while was so hot, it can stay hot for a long time. But this, isn't even about the story. This is a growth story too. And so it's not like can it eventually grow into this valuation? Possibly. Can Beyond Meat eventually grow into the valuation when it was trading worth $8 billion? I don't think ever. But so you can see that there is, a fundamental story potentially here too. But right now, it's just the squeeze is on. I mean, it's downgraded. How many times do you see a stock get 2 downgrades in a day and it's trading in the green?
It's green now. Yeah.
How many times do you see that? It happens probably not very often. I'll tell you, I trade the ratings. I trade them all the time. It's very rare to see a stock get 2 downgrades and trade green.
It happens at least once.
Once when?
Right now. Right now. That's
once right now. I mean, it's usually pretty much clockwork. When a stock gets 2 downgrades, it's usually going to at least be down at the open and at least be down for a while. Sometimes the market effects can come and bring the stock back up, but usually they're going to open down. This is just, anybody who's even shorting it over, like I said, I tried it. I saw the downgrade. I was like, I'll try this thing, and try shorting it. And I was like, no, it doesn't want to go down. And everybody else can see the downgrade too. And now you're like 494. I mean, it's just ripping. Anybody who shorted this morning on the downgrades getting ripped on it too. So it's not even your shorts overall. Day trader shorts are probably in this saying it's downgraded twice. I had to go down. Doesn't have to do anything. It's got 500 on the brain, man.
Yeah, look at that, up 218.
It is going to have a day where it's going to be very ugly here, and it's going to lose like $30 or $40 a day. And the media will cite some fundamental thing. It's just way overbought. But when that happens, I think it's going to hit 500 before that happens. I'll say that. Maybe it go through 500, hit some 50, people, maybe some shorts is throwing the towel. It's 500. I can't take it anymore. Maybe that's the time. But this squeeze, this is an epic short squeeze, just epic.
Yeah, Dad, you just walked it up a couple bucks there.
I walked up a couple bucks with me just talking bullish on it.
It actually had a pre-market show. We said 2 downgrades, so it might only be up $4 or $5.
The thing just trades like it's got news on it all the time. It trades so actively.
Looking at that too.
It's so active. I mean, it's traded 400,000 shares, and yes, there's a couple downgrades, but obviously not having much of an influence here. It's up $1.40.
Big
Incredible.
volume day yesterday. I will just say you might have had some shorts might have really thrown the towel yesterday, because I do see a volume here of 31,200,000. That's your largest volume day. How far do you have to go back? Wow, you got to go back a long time. So big volume day. Let's see what happens here. Once again, I said, look at the close and keep an eye on that high from yesterday. Quick.
Spinner's making a good point too. I mean, CNBC is to blame for the squeeze a bit too. I mean, CNBC is talking the stock up so much. Kramer's on there. You hear what Kramer said yesterday? So it was a big story because Tesla is now worth as much as the GM and Ford combined.
Yep.
And Kramer says, let me know when Tesla gets to twice as much as the GM and Ford combined. He is like just pounding the table on Tesla there, so Jim Cramer even walking it up. I mean, we've been talking about it bullishly. I mean, everybody is just, amazed at the short squeeze here. I mean, in the last 6 days, this went from 400 to 500. This is an incredible move. I mean, from 300 to 400, at least it took a couple months. This done in 6 days. 6 days.
And if you are looking to short this thing, I think at least you got to wait for some consolidation.
Think about what I said yesterday. And what I said is I've lost a lot of money trying to short rocket ships. Wait till the rocket ship runs out of gas. Wait till it stops going up, stops making new highs at least. I want to see at least, we get a red candle in here. Because when you just try to say, now 500 is a number, that's going to be it. Sure, it's a psychological number, and maybe it's okay, but we've seen so many times where it doesn't even matter. So it's very, very important as a trader to be able to minimize your risk as much as you can. How do you minimize your risk on a stock making all-time highs? I've lost so much money trying to short a stock making new all-time highs or buying a stock making all-time lows. It's very, very hard to time it perfectly. You could have set up 450, it was overdone. Well, you're down $50 in 2 days. You just lost 10% of your money in 2 days with that call. So very, very, very difficult to call tops and pick bottoms. And I've lost, I've been in the business 20 years. I've lost a lot of money doing that stuff. So that's why I don't do it anymore. The best lesson you can learn is by physically trading. And you learn the hard way. And when I get slammed and doing something, I learn. And you still try to be a hero every once in a while, and you still go back. But more often than not, I'm going to lay off on something like this, at least until I get a red candle. At least give me some reason. Maybe they say something. Maybe there's a funnel. Give me
earnings.
Something.
Maybe earnings.
Maybe that too. But right now, there's no reason. It's got 2 downgrades today, and
it's up $4. It's up 444. Oh my Lord.
It's 500s on the brain.
You're killing the shorts here.
Well, CNBC's talking about it too right now. Everybody's talking about it. So, this is it. Wow. It may hit 500 pre-market, Texas Linda saying. It might. I mean, it's 496. So we tried yesterday. I think it hits it today. And then, what happens after that, who knows? I'm not buying it. I'm not chasing this thing here. I'm amazed at watching it, though. It's a great story.
All right. We're going to get one more stock in here before we bring in Marc. Wake up, Spencer.
Let's get through.
Wake up. How are you not woken up? I'm screaming into the mic.
Spencer and I are going out for breakfast. Where do you want to go, Spencer?
Yeah, that's a good one. Real quick, let's just do Bed Bath earnings real fast, and then we'll grab Marc Chaikin. Bed Bath earnings were not great. They lost 38 cents per share last quarter versus a 2 cents gain estimate. Sales also missed 2.75 versus $2.85 billion. Comps down 8.3% versus a down 5% expectation. So a miss on same-store sales, a miss on revenue, a miss on earnings. Not great for their first earnings report under the new CEO.
Pulling the guidance too.
Oh, right.
We'll just withdraw our guidance going forward.
Forgot that part.
This is just an epic disaster of a report. Epic, epic, epic disaster. That being said, you can't short anything in this bloody market. So, you'd think like a report like this, the thing would open, and when it reopened, it opened in the 12 handle last night. $12, like 12, what it was low. It opened right around 12 and a half, I think. Did it not?
Yeah, it did. It opened, and I did 1260.
You want to know something? So as much as an epic disaster this was, and as much as I just said I don't try to pick bottoms, I bought that thing like 30 seconds after the open because I'm like, they just buy everything. I'm like, this thing's down $4. It's deserving of being down $4, but this is not the market to be selling something down $4 in. And I bought it at 13 and change, and I sold at 14 and change 5 minutes later. So, I mean, there's trades in here. You could see there was an iceberg walking it up. So I'm like, I'm confident to lean on that iceberg guy who's just walking this thing back up. They walked it all the way up into the 15 handle. I think I sold like 14.20, and I was regretting it about 5 minutes later because the dang thing was trading over 15. And it got up to like 1560 last night. So they are on this epic disaster. And I mean, from a fundamental perspective, it cannot get worse than what everything, in my opinion, than the stuff that was said. You know, withdrawing the guidance where comps are down 8%. You know, we missed the quarter by a landslide. It was just a disaster. Am I coming in here and shorting at 1470? Nope. Too scared to short anything. But this would be the kind of stock in normal markets that I would hit the bid on. But nope, no, thank you. And I even, like I said, I played it from the long side last night. Normally I would not do this. This is not normal markets. They're just hungry and they buy the dip on everything. It worked again last night. I made, I think, 75 cents in literally about 75 seconds. It's just
I like that. I like that. You're a market timer.
Well, it's all trading is market timing. So in market timing and minimizing the risk. And it just started walking up from the front. I know Kenny, if he's hit the bid, was trading at 2. He was in before me because he said he bought at 13 and then sold like 13 and a half. And I bought like right around, like mid 13s and sold at 14.20. So we both took out like 50, 70 cents out of the thing on the long side, both thinking the same way. Is like, things down $4, probably going to bounce because that's what they do. I mean, that's what this market is buy the dip and forget about it. Unbelievable. It's only down $2. That was a disaster report. Not putting my long-term portfolio, not at all, because this, is, I still think, and I've been bearish Bed Bath & Beyond for a long time if you've been listening to the show. But I'm too scared to short anything right now.
All right, let's get Marc Chaikin's thoughts on this. Marc, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys? I've been listening to the Tesla rant. What
are your
something
thoughts
interesting
here,
about
Marc?
Bed Bath & Beyond, by the way, it goes down whether it reports good earnings or bad. Last 6 years, 24 quarters, 22 out of 24, it drops after earnings.
That's an awesome stat. Why did we have you on the show yesterday?
Well, you would have heard that we had a bullish rating on the stock, so it wouldn't have helped anybody.
It was definitely in an uptrend.
Hey, give this guy a chance. He's new. You can't turn, the Queen Mary around, in a quarter.
It's true. Okay. And, like Spinner's saying, this is a kitchen sink quarter. So, and I think that's why maybe it's not, down more here. I still don't think he can turn it around. My own opinion. That's why I'm not long the stock, but I'm not shorting it either, Marc. Just because I just lose money shorting anything in this market.
This is no market for shorts. It's a melt.
No.
It's a melt up market. And we need to take credit for this. We've been talking about this for a month on the show, 6 weeks.
We've all been bullish here. Yeah, we've been talking, and Marc's been bullish here too. A lot of different stocks, and let's bring it back to Tesla because this is stock we've been talking about too.
I want to talk about Tesla.
It's your classic poster child for this market right now.
Well, I'm sure you guys talked about it the other day. Argus Research raised their target to 556 on, I guess, Monday or Tuesday. That's what really broke the stock out. So that's why those downgrades don't matter today. If you got a 556 target out there, and then Credit Suisse raised they raised it from like 160 to 280, which is ridiculous. They're bearish on the stock. So, you basically paraphrased Justin Mamus, who 30 years ago wrote a book on how to short, and he said, never short a stock making a new high because you have no place to put your stop.
Yeah.
So very smart wisdom from Dennis Dick.
Yeah, and it's just been an incredible run. Like I was just saying, even the option raters. Imagine you had some naked calls written on this thing, or just thinking, okay, well, 350s, things at 250 back in October. I'll rate some 350s, probably get myself $7 or $8 or $10 for that. Because down $150, you'd be down on that now. So that's the one thing about naked call rating. It works a lot of times, but when it doesn't work, it hurts.
Nobody stays there that long. Margin calls take care of it.
You would hope, unless you're really big account.
Yeah, well, big account's too smart to do that.
Mark, we're getting a question here about UNH here. I don't know if that's something that's on your radar.
Definitely.
Popping up against new all-time highs here, trading up $1.10 in the pre-market at 297. Kind of quiet here. Any thoughts on UNH?
We had a bullish rating in October, November, December. Neutral now. Valuations are the reason. It's gotten oversold, and then it had a big bounce yesterday. I'd probably stay with it, but be a seller above 300. But not with any urgency. This market has a free pass through earnings season, which begins on Tuesday. So very hard to find sellers in this market.
I mean, you get the potential for World War III a couple nights ago. It sure looked like it when the after hours trade, when the S&Ps fall 55. They can't even keep it down till the next session. By the time we open for trade at 9:30, we got all the losses back. I mean, the buy the dip is just on.
Underlying bid for stocks. If I was buying in here, I'd buy Anthem, but these stocks are all overbought. Although Anthem has come back down and then had that big one-day rally yesterday. Anthem has a bullish rating in the Chaikin power gauge. So if I had to choose between Anthem and United, I'd go for Anthem here, but they look similar.
Mark, speaking of earnings season coming up around the corner, do you have any ideas for us, bullish or bearish? Not that there would be any bearish ideas, but any ideas for us for earnings, please?
The analysts are starting to get a little more bullish, which is not a good thing. For the last 3 or 4 earnings quarters, the analysts were lowering their estimates going into the quarter, including in October, which is why we had a low bar and had that huge rally beginning in earnings season in October. So that makes me a little nervous. There's a pretty high bar here, both in terms of earnings and guidance that have to be met starting on Tuesday when Jpmorgan Chase. The best advice I can give here on earnings is follow the leaders, because in earnings season, the big dogs sort of set the tone. So Jpmorgan reports on Tuesday, usually at 7 o'clock. To try to get a jump on the others. Listen to what Jamie Dimon says. That'll have a big impact on the banking sector. Watch the semiconductors. Lam Research reports in January and AMAT reports in February. You get a lot of tip-off. Lennar just reported for the home builders, very big quarter. So watch the big dogs when they report, and then expect that the little guys will, or not the little, but the people in the same industry with a similar profile will follow.
Do you have any
through.
specific laggards? Go for the W is asking any specific laggards worth a look.
Well, I'm not you know me, I'm a relative strength kind of guy, as long as the power gauge is bullish. I'd start to look for buys in the retail sector. The XRT retail ETF saw the power gauge turn bullish about 3 weeks ago. And you do have some names in specialty research, retail. They're not great names, and they did include Bed Bath & Beyond, but I would keep an eye on retail under the assumption that the worst may be over there. But the names don't pop out at you. I don't see the ones I'd like to see, like Kohl's or...
Well, Kohl's just just coincidentally just reported their Christmas sales here, and they weren't good. So
Yeah,
this is just breaking here an hour ago.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and it's down 10%.
So the big
I mean,
names like
the dogs
Target,
remain dogs. Full disclosure, it is one of the only retail stocks I do have in my long-term portfolio. I thought about actually selling it. I guess I should have, but my exposure to retail is very low. So I have one stock in there, and it is Kohl's. So I'm not happy about that this morning. But I mean, all these retail stocks have just been perennial underperformers.
Well, when I was on 2 weeks ago, we talked about Amazon and how it had a break above 1,800, and it did it in spades, I think, that day. And there you go. I mean, that's your retail stock. Doesn't have a bullish rating, but if anybody's benefiting from retail, it's Amazon.
All right, we've been on with Marc Chaikin from Chaikin Analytics. Joins us every other Thursday, and he'll give us thoughts on various stocks across the market. Marc, have a good one. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Marc.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, 824. Let's bring it back. We covered well, let's do Kohl's since I'll give you the numbers here real
Yeah, it's a
fast.
mess.
the same-store sales for the holiday season, November and December, fell 0.2%. They attributed that fall to weakness in their core women's apparel business. They also said that the 2019 EPS guidance would be at the low end of the previously announced range. That's $4.75 to $4.95. So at the low end of that range. So not great holiday sales and lowering expectations on their EPS guidance.
Actually, they reaffirmed the full year though, so they did reaffirm
Yeah,
the
but
fiscal year.
low end.
But let's just put this in perspective. So you have Bed Bath & Beyond, which is an epic disaster. And you have Kohl's, which is like, they missed. Kohl's down 9%, Bed Bath & Beyond is down 12. I mean, this just shows you the little bit of the squeeze. I mean, where, you know, you got a lot higher short interest in a stock like Bed Bath & Beyond. And you have shorts that have been hit in the last little while there. And they're more inclined to come in and buy that. I mean, just from a fundamental perspective, the Bed Bath & Beyond quarter is way worse than the Kohl's numbers here from the Christmas season. That being said, I am long Kohl's, so obviously disappointed. I thought about selling it the last couple days, and then Macy's came out, and Macy's said some okay stuff. So I was like, I'm going to stick with Kohl's because you knew this was going to come eventually, and I shouldn't have. And I'm stuck in it now. Obviously, it's in the long-term portfolio. I bought this thing right around here, actually. I was almost timed this perfectly, right around 46, which was the low in December. And it ran up to 51. I guess, you know, you just got to be a trader, these retail stocks. But it's a stock that I want in my portfolio for a long time. My exposure to retail, people would look at it and say, you're nuts. I think it's like 1%. I like my portfolio. I'm almost all tech. And then I'm like a lot of, you know, conservative stocks, which I've talked about before, dividend plays. This kind of fits into the dividend play. I said of the three, Nordstrom, Macy's, and Kohl's, I like Kohl's the best. Finally, I put it in there around 46 bucks. It looked like a really good buy. It was, and it's given it back. I mean, you stick around these retail stocks long enough, you lose money. So is what it is.
What about the one outlier here, Costco?
Oh, that's an unbelievable company.
So they reported that sales for the holiday season rose 10.5% with same-store sales. So this is sales at stores that have been open for at least a year, up 9%. So 10% overall increase in sales for the holiday season.
It's not just Amazon. And you can go right. And, you know, I like that Kramer acronym we came up with, watch. You know, and we got Walmart, Amazon, Target, Costco, and Home Depot. That's where people shop. The big box centers really, you know, hit a lot of these other stocks too. So it's not just Amazon, it's that entire watch. And Costco, obviously these are the retailers that have outperformed. These are the retailers that have kicked butt. And they continue to kick butt. And you look at Costco and you think, they put comps up 9%? Or 8? How much? 9 or 8? What?
It was not. It was 9 for same-store sales, 10.5 overall.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. You think about the size of Costco. You think about how many sales they already have. They increased them 9%. That's unbelievable.
Do you think any?
And you know, it really, from a fundamental basis, this thing should be up, you know, a lot more than $4. If you're just talking just pure fundamentals, this thing should be up 10 to 20 points on this. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Comps up 9%.
You know what? Maybe there's a little. They're reading in. Maybe it was a holiday.
No, but that would be comps comparable to the year before, correct? You got to compare apples and apples, and not comparing like quarter to quarter.
Right. It's year over year. And also remember Costco's like Black Friday sales, I believe, or it was down, but that was due to, or maybe it was for the quarter, but it was
comps were up 9% in December. So this is apples to apples, Joel.
Right. But they had
apples to apples, they went up 9%. That is unbelievable.
And then remember,
for a company that size,
remember that I think it was, I want to say November sales were down. That had to do with the way Thanksgiving fell on the calendar. And
right.
so that was more of a timing thing. They had weak sales the last time they reported, but
that is just awesome.
This holiday season was clearly amazing.
Amazing quarter. And like I said, I don't even think $4. But again, this is a funny market. It's a stock that, you know, isn't been getting that much love. It's a defensive stock. So is this going to blast off 20, 30 and be your leader and run to 400? It's not the kind of stock, it's not the storied stock. It's not the sexy stock. It's not, a high growth tech name, although that growth is incredible. So I'm very impressed with the quarter. I think it should be up more, but I'm not coming in buying 299 because I could see how they got the defensive nature too. And this is the kind of market that just wants huge growth. I mean, that was big growth for Costco though. That's unbelievable quarter.
We'll just do quick technicals on the coals, and there's one number and one number only, and that's you have a bunch of monthly lows in the same area. The lowest of those monthly lows is 43.33. That's still $2 away. Starting to get a green candle here on this. Well, we just started this bracket. Pre-market low stands at 44.77. So if you're looking at this and, trying to pick it up at 45, just be aware, the low of the move was 43.33. Costco just kind of marching up higher here, been kind of quiet, bounced off 290, trading at the highs of the pre-market session, which is 299. 300, you've already traded.
Big number.
Yeah, you've traded.
I'm not shorting it though. That was an impressive quarter.
I guess if you're looking for a good target on this one, 302. Well, you have a couple highs in the 300 handle, 30020 and 30089. But if you really want a nice juicy target, your November 27th high was 302.79.
This is the opposite of a pitch up the middle though. It's one of those that looks like it's a pitch up the middle, and then it ends up being a curveball or a slider or something, because this looks like it's up only $4 on this. It should be up, way more because these comps are incredible. I'm going to buy this thing at $299 and sell it later today at $309. It's the kind of, stock though that could do just something funny. So I can't, come in here and buy it at $299 with my money here, because I could see it going either way. I could just see this kind of market. It's kind of an irrational market. Fundamentally, this should be up a lot more in my opinion, but fundamentals don't even matter in this market. And again, it's not a storied stock really. Costco is a great story overall, but it's not like one of those things you think about where, you're going to double or triple your money in a hurry. And those are the kind of sexy stocks this market wants right now. So I could see it going either way.
Tesla up $5.34 at 497.51.
That is a sexy story. It will be unsexy soon though. This is way overbought. So if you're chasing it now, you are asking for trouble, in my opinion, on Tesla. I mean, I don't know where this party stops. It's in full rocket ship mode, but eventually these rocket ships do run out of gas and they do come back down to earth, at least a little bit here.
You know what? We got a good point, and I think Dennis, you're going to refute it, and I will too. One Life, One Chance says Tesla reminds me of the cannabis bubble of last January, just up and up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. You know what? The one thing about the cannabis bubble was there was so much competition coming, but you could say there's going to be competition for Tesla coming too, because everybody's going to be coming out with electric vehicles. I mean, they are the leader right now, but I can get on board with saying that too. I think eventually this does come somewhat back down to earth, but I don't know where the top is. And just like the same with the cannabis stocks, those were very hard. And I was playing those from the long side too, but you could see like valuation really didn't make sense on a lot of cannabis stocks. Right. And you know what else too? Look at these cannabis stocks. Think about what the market has been doing, and think about these cannabis stocks. If you're long these cannabis stocks, you got to be like really scratching your head now, because this, market environment has been going by the dip, buying straight up, and these things are just going straight down. They didn't even get a bounce in January. Like sometimes you see, okay, well, the tax loss selling is done. Maybe we're going to start to get a bounce in some of these things. They can't even bounce there. I mean, the MJ made a new low yesterday, or at least kissing it. At least the MJ, you do have a double bottom there. If you are playing, the MJ, 1595 is your out. So yesterday we got down to 1598. It's not a bad technical setup. So if you want to say be the hero and call the bottom on that, I would stop myself out on the MJ under 1595. So if you wanted to play it that way. So there is a setup there. But you just look at these cannabis stocks, and the trend is absolutely not your friend. That Aurora Cannabis, ACB, which obviously Gordon Johnson got the price target of 0 on, it goes down every day. I mean,
just to want to cover another stock here before we continue with retail. Juan said, please, SQ. He wants us to look at Square. Andy said, please, for coming out of
great move. last 2
that-
days.
That's very good.
Caught an upgrade a couple days ago. That's what kickstarted. Sometimes it just takes an analyst to give it a kickstart. Who was the analyst that upgraded 2 days ago?
Pulling it up right now. It was Bank America upgrade to buy. They raised their price target to $75.
Yeah, that kickstarted this rally, and now it's off the races. I still own Square. It's not one of those stocks that are a value play. It's a growth play for me. I believe that Square can eventually grow in the valuation. I'm in it from 62. I've been in it for a while. I was down because it got down to 54. I've been in it for about 6 months. I've been up, I've been down with it. I've been kind of all over the place with it. It's looking hot again here, but again, you have some overhead supply issues coming in at that 70. That's 69, 73
Just
high.
under 70. Yep. I was just.
It's tough to come in and buy it here.
It's a good target for today. I'd bump it down to 69.5. I see a quad of lows between 69.44 and 69.73. So you had someone for 4 days in a row targeting that area. Let's see how it reacts today. That would just be a target for today at 69 psychological $70 level.
Last thing on the retail front, we should talk about L Brands briefly. They announced holiday comps were down 3% year over year, and while they were at it, they lowered their Q4 EPS guidance from $2 a share to $1.85 per share. So not a great headline from L Brands.
Again, this L Brands is way worse than the Kohl's quarter, but Kohl's gets punished for 10%. This gets punished for 2%, probably because there's a hell of a lot of short interest in it. I mean, it's hard to short stocks with high short interest. What's the short interest on L Brands, LB?
Let's check it. I will go to one of the go-to.
I mean, this is always, it's a moving target with these short interests, so you never get a perfect.
It's always a day or two late.
Yeah, it's a moving target, but
somebody actually called in and asked us where we get our short interest data. I just use a simple free site, shortsqueeze.com, and it says around 8%.
So we did get a call
crazy.
today? Or is that?
Yeah.
We did. We got one call today.
Yeah,
all right. The streak continues. Let's go for 2.
Okay. Back to L Brands.
I mean, LB.
8%.
Terrible quarter. Lots of support down between 16 and 17, though. So this is one of those pitches, too, that is definitely not up the middle. I'm not swinging at it.
Not a quarter, just for the holiday sales. So
keep an eye on, there's actually 4 lows stocking the $17 area, up from $16.99 to $17.16. So there's your area. You haven't quite got there yet in the pre-market. So you bounced off 17.12. You may have missed your opportunity to buy L Brands in the lower 17 handle, but we'll see what happens when the major liquidity come in.
All right, what would you guys do with Grubhub here? We talked about this after their last earnings report, which was horrendous. Yesterday, they come out and say, we are considering or at least investigating a possible sale.
I know exactly what I would do. And let me go to my ratings calendar here. And I would call all of these 8 analysts that downgraded it, and I would ask them what they think.
On October the 30th.
October the 30th.
Here, I'll pull it up in pro.
Oh, this is pro. This is an impressive
Let me
one.
see it.
This
We've given them heat before. We're going to give them heat
I'm
here
sorry,
again.
but
Talk about selling the bottom.
Just so you can see as I get it up on the screen here. October 30th, how many downgrades did they get in one day? A lot. It was 1, 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like 9 downgrades in one day.
This is ridiculous.
I would call those analysts and I would say, what do you think?
All downgrades.
And then whatever they did, whatever the consensus of what they did, I would do the opposite.
So they all come out today and say buy it. Holy mackerel. I mean, you can follow analysts and they make some good calls and bad calls. A lot of really bad calls in that grub. That was the absolute bottom. The stock is almost, we're 32 to 56. You're talking about stocks up 80% from those downgrades 2 months ago. If you're coming in buying it now, you are way late to the party and you're buying everybody else's profits. You're coming into overhead supply. Company comes out and says, oh yeah, maybe we'll sell themselves. More often than not, when the company's coming out and saying stuff like that, they're not selling themselves. So I think this is actually now a selling opportunity. So I think it's at its rally. The easy money's been made. In my opinion, GRUB is more of a sell than a buy here. Just my opinion. No
And
position.
with these kind of things, and it's probably the mantra that I use most, if something's going to happen, let it happen. I mean, let it happen and let it happen quickly. If it, hangs up here for a while, you don't hear anything, then more likely a chance of a decline. It did fill a gap yesterday. So I'm sure a lot of people that have been holding out for that gap fill, you had a gap between 39.40 and 56.51. You got through it by a wide margin. You got to 57.80. Keep an eye on unchanged here, 54.75 in Grubhub. Wait to keep an eye, see if those headlines, see if you get some follow through. Big old rally, and now you get this. Also, keep an eye on yesterday's high. That could be a good target on the upside. That's $2.80 away from where we're at.
Alex is talking about Disney. Wants our thoughts. I sold my Disney stock out of my long-term portfolio. Why? Because I think the Disney Plus numbers, the next time they report, are not going to be good. And the reason I think this is, and I've said it before, is that they just do not have enough original content and new stuff coming out on that. And I'm finding myself going back to Netflix. And I was rah Disney Plus, and I got it. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm watching all these Swiss Family Robins, all these old movies I was watching for so long. And now I've watched them, and then the kids have watched, and I'm like, I'm bored with this now. Mandalorian ended, which was an awesome show. I mean, they needed like 10 Mandalorians, so we need something to keep the viewers' attention. And somebody else tweeted at me yesterday, yeah, I did my trial, I watched my Mandalorian, and I unsubscribed. So I am very, very concerned that we are sitting on a bubble in Disney. It's a Disney Plus bubble. And we know it went from 115 to 145 all on Disney Plus, and we've had some good numbers initially with this. I'm very concerned that the next round of numbers are not going to be good, and that stock's going to drop $10 on it. So that is why I'm not a Disney long term.
I do not. Hard disagree.
Good. I like disagrees.
Go get 'em.
I like it when give me your argument. Talk me back into my Disney.
Because
I sold.
You're assuming that everybody has already done what you did, which is subscribe right away and then get watch and then cancel or get bored. I mean, no.
I'm assuming some people.
Not everybody is a first mover. We can't all be first movers like you, Dennis. We can't all be first.
Maybe.
Trend.
Maybe. But I mean, these numbers were very impressive out of the gate. And I think if we just don't, the numbers, they're going to have growth. It's not like they're going to go down, but imagine that growth slows substantially. There's a lot of money sitting banking that Disney Plus is the thing. I'm just from a product user, and sometimes you should not mix stock trading with product usage. Sometimes you should. But are you subscribing to Disney Plus, Spencer? First of all, just curious.
I don't pay for it, but I get it.
Okay, so you got to throw a friend or whatever.
Don't say
I think personally, just my opinion, and and I agree, like you can have your opinion, entitled to your opinion too. There's going to be some people who are coming on and really love the product. My kids, I don't know if I'm going to be an unsubscriber. I haven't unsubscribed because my kids are still watching. And it's cheap. It's dirt cheap. But I think there's a lot of people that are like, there's not that much new stuff coming out here. It's the same as it was when it came out in November. There's literally like 10 new shows. I mean, you got to have way more content. Netflix pounds out the content. And you know what's telling me when I went rah Disney Plus and, rah, I don't want to own Netflix. What is price is telling me in Netflix is that I'm wrong with that call. Netflix has went straight up, continues to straight up. And that's why 3 days ago on the show, I said, I'm getting off my bearish stance on Netflix. This was when it was 325 or 330. I said, I'm off my bearish stance because I do not think Disney Plus is a threat to Netflix. I don't know if the other one's coming. There is competition. Yes, it's nosebleed, which is why I'm not buying Netflix, but I don't think Disney Plus is a threat to Netflix at this point in time until they come out with a lot more content. And I'm very concerned with sitting on a Disney bubble here right now, which is why I've sold my Disney. I will re-enter Disney if it gets back down to like that 115, 120 area. If it takes off and I'm wrong. I'm not going to make the money with it, but I sold my Disney. I made some money on it. I'm scared with sitting on a Disney Plus bubble though, and that bubble could burst.
Here's the difference. Netflix has one kettle on the fire, their streaming platform. Disney has a dozen. This is both. I get that Disney Plus is thought to be the growth part of their business.
Yeah,
but it is but one part of their.
Oh
business.
yeah.
So I'm not even if the Disney Plus numbers are worse than expectations. I don't even know what those expectations are, but even if they are worse, then that's one part of the equation. So I wouldn't throw in the towel. If you were bullish on Disney a few months ago, I wouldn't throw in the towel just because Disney Plus numbers.
Do we know how many of these subscribers are actually paid subscribers, or how many?
Well, you
are
had the Verizon, that they were getting
Verizon?
it for free. It's a
Yeah,
great point
yeah. Do we
too.
know that? I mean, I think you.
Well,
I'm kind of in the middle between you two guys on this one.
Okay.
I'm bullish. I'm not bearish. I think there's a lot of expectations baked into the stock. So when you see,
that's probably true.
yeah,
That's
so,
what I'm concerned about.
Yep. So I guess
I'm concerned that everybody's expecting huge numbers for Disney Plus, and I think the next time they report their subscriber numbers, it's going to disappoint, and I think you're going to see the thing fall 10% on that, because I think, and Spencer makes a great point. You have the parks, you have so much other revenues. This isn't like a stock that's going to go down to $50. I mean, this is a stock that could revisit 130 again, I think, though. And it could even, we really started this breakout with the Disney Plus, and the market's been up a lot since then. So you got to say, take Disney Plus away, fair value is probably 120 to 125 without Disney Plus. So, you're paying $20 probably extra for the Disney Plus. I just think this market's all about a story. And if that story turns ugly, I think they will punish Disney. And if it comes back down to 125 and maybe even the 130, I will re-enter because I believe in Disney long term. But I think this Disney Plus product, unless they can start turning me into a believer by coming out with way more content, you got to keep me interested. I am not interested in it. And my wife too. We're both went back to Netflix. We have both. We have Netflix and Disney Plus. I was watching Disney Plus nonstop for a month. But now I watched all that stuff. My kids, the kids will put on Disney Plus because it's some movies, some older stuff. But I'm like, there's not enough new content. The Mandalorian was awesome. Awesome show. I watched that, Jeff.
Right, well,
I watched that. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say February 4th. That's when we'll know. February 4th after the close. That is Disney's earnings report.
And then hopefully then they talk about those numbers in there. So you got some time here, but you never know. They could just come out and give an update too. So, but did they give an update if it's bad? Maybe not.
And how's Verizon? Someone's asking, how does Verizon get if you have a Verizon account, you get a free trial or something?
You get a free year.
Free year.
Free year.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Year.
A lot of Verizon subscribers probably got that for free, that product in there. It's a cool product, but if they really wanted to compete with Netflix, which it sounded like they did, they got to spend way more money on original content. Like, they got to come and start pumping out. They got to pump out 10 more Mandalorians. Mandalorian was awesome. They got to do it, way more. They got to do way more. It's not enough new content on there.
I just wouldn't bet against them. They have all the good IP. I just wouldn't bet against them.
I might even bet against them. I'm even thinking about betting against them just for the short term for the trade. I think the Disney Plus numbers, this is my opinion. I have no insider information. I don't know.
I should rephrase.
I'm just looking at, I think the Disney Plus numbers are really bad.
That point. I wouldn't bet against them for the long term.
No, I'm not shorting my long-term retirement.
The next month, maybe.
But I think this is going to eventually revisit that 130 area. And look at the relative strength. Here's the market, been very strong. Disney cannot go up here. It's not catching a bit. The relative strength I don't like on either. This is just trader talk here. And Spencer's got this in his retirement account. And I respect that. I had it in my retirement account too. I just think I'm trying to time it. I think I'm going to get it back cheaper. So I bought this thing around 138. I sold some at 148. And I sold the rest the other day at 145 out. And it comes back down to 130. I'm going to get back in. It depends on those Disney Plus numbers.
I've gotten this in the same account that I have have GE and a few other.
GE's starting to work for you, bet.
Yeah, a little bit. I was looking at that. A couple more bucks, and I'm in the
back to even.
You're gonna sell. You
sell.
A couple
more bucks, and I'm in the black.
Never. Yeah, don't sell at a loss. That's how everybody does it.
Does anybody have any losses? I'm just
nobody on Twitter.
Someone is asking about pre-market and after hours trading. It depends on your broker. It depends on the size of your account. Don't know what platform everyone's on, but there's usually, there's different type of orders that you can send. And depending on the platform, like there's good to cancels or stops or whatever, there should be on the drop down that says, after hours or pre-market that would allow you to do it. But that's an individual. A lot of brokers do offer it, but some don't. And I think if you have I think it's probably based on the funds in your account also. Tesla up 624 at 498.38.
We're sniffing it.
We're staying on today until Tesla trades 500.
Imagine you short that thing, it gets 2 downgrades, and you look at it, it's trading up another $6. You must just be like, what the hell? Hard to short rocket ships. Hard to make money shorting rocket ships.
Exactly. All right, we got a ton of. Did we cover all the news? There's a
A lot of ratings.
We didn't cover any of the ratings aside from Tesla. There are a lot of ratings this morning. Snapchat getting 2 upgrades.
double
Cowan
upgrade.
and Company and
Wow.
Jeffries both upgrading to outperform/buy, and Snap is up on that. We'll pull up that chart and then we'll move
I
on
mean,
to.
it's up. Where's it trading at? 1736. I like the monthlies on this one, and I think you got room up to 1836. I remember you blew up there back in July. I don't think I'd be stepping ahead of it till then. Don't really understand the product or use the product, but the chart looks pretty good. Trading at the highs of the pre-market session. That's 1745. If you want to get really nitpicky here, that was your August high, 1745.
Speaking of rocket ships here, AMD up at Mizuho to buy this morning.
I think it's going through 50. I got up there, tried a couple times. I think it's going through 50. I don't know today, but I think it's going through 50 in the near future. So some people will come in and had an ugly candle and maybe fading it here. I can't get on the AMD fade until at least it's below 45. I think there's still gas in the tank here. Again, this is one's been rocket ship mode. It's went from 20, it's basically doubled here in 3 months. So if you're coming in now, you're late to the party, but I think it's come this far. I think it's going to take out 50. My opinion. Next.
Up $1.12. I'm sorry.
Go. You can go. You can give your thoughts, but you were silent. So I was like, well, next.
Yeah, I was on mute. I got up here for a second. 49.25. That was, let's see if is that your pre-market high? Yeah, your pre-market high is 49.25. And then that coincides nicely. 49.39. That was your high on 2 days ago. So keep an eye moving up into some targets there. Plus 50. I mean, how many people are like, oh man, when AMD gets to 50, gotta be, that would be a big psychological level there for the issue. And also I just want to thank everybody here in the YouTube chat. We have just an amazing turnout today. It's like the market, usually when the markets go up, we usually don't get as many listeners because everyone's a genius. It's usually on these.
Oh yeah, markets go down are our best days.
Yeah, I know. We have
it's the media's best days too. That's why CNBC likes to run those markets in turmoil specials to get viewers on.
We have a negative beta, but today is an outlier. But thank you, everybody. I hope we provided you with some good information. Any more phone calls come in, Spencer?
Yeah, I haven't gotten the chance to listen to it yet, though. I was looking through.
We'll do that at 9.
Looking through the ratings. Coke upgrade at Credit Suisse to outperform this morning. Who else did I see? There are a lot.
55's huge in Coke.
Do you see anything?
I don't have my book open. JV Spec in the chat there. I don't have the book open. I bet you there's some size of 55 though.
Yeah, 50.
Well, we were there. We were through it 5 days ago, so maybe they chewed through it. But it looks like the kind of level that there'd be some size.
Well, you did chew through it, but then you came back up for the retest, right? 50.
Yeah, and then it failed there once, so maybe there is some size there.
Yeah, hit it 54.99. You fell back to 54.15. But the recent highs, if we're really looking, I think there's someone probably more perched at 55.50. Is the high freaks, are selling it in the high 55.30 handle in the mid 55.40 handle.
Question about, or just people talking about Twitter. You're still on your Twitter, Joe?
I'm still on Twitter. Yep.
I am too. I'm long Twitter as well. I bought it at 29. I almost got the low on that thing. I'm still in it, holding on. It's into the gap area now. I like it.
Yeah, it's very, very, very hard when you get into a gap like that because there's nothing there. I mean, a lot to fill to the gap to 37.75, $4 away. We won't talk about that today, but just grinding, and it grinds up and then it pulls back, grinds up, pulls back a little bit. Haven't heard much about Jack in Africa or anything like that, but there it is. Twitter moving up nicely. I think I'll just pass that one on to my kids unless it gets taken over.
Looking through the rest of the ratings that caught my eye. Starbucks up at Barclays to overweight, and Barclays also upgrading Apache APA to equal weight this morning. Gordon Haskett has a bit of a retail trade
they woke
on.
up on the bad side
They
of that
are
today.
upgrading Nordstrom to accumulate. That's their version of neutral, but they're downgrading in that same note BJ's Wholesale Club to hold. downgrading Five Below, downgrading Tractor Supply, and downgrading Dollar Tree. So 4 downgrades to go with the Nordstrom upgrade for Gordon Haskett. And what else caught my eye? There was a few others. This is interesting. Raymond James initiating Shake Shack at underperform. We like when we see initiations at buy or sell. We don't like the initiations at neutral. So thank you to Ray J for that. And Benchmark initiating Lyft at a sell. $35 price target.
They initiate and it still trades up anyways. This bull market. We don't pay attention to sell ratings, but we buy the hell out of the buy ones. And if you're looking at Nordstrom, why it's not trading up, it's Kohl's. Kohl's is trading down 8%. Nordstrom hasn't reported yet, so somebody might say, well, Macy's isn't trading down much. Macy's, we already know. We already know the numbers for Macy's, so we don't need to expect or have any expectations.
I bet you're more of a buy the dipper in the J. Well,
the JWN. I'd be more. Yep. I'd be more inclined to buy the dip in the JWN here right now as a trade, because you know why? You just set the bar lower for them too. The Nordstrom always benefits because Kohl's, for better lack of the better word, SH blank blanks the bed, and then the bar is set low for Nordstrom, and Nordstrom goes up on it. Like how that just works. So the bar is set low for Nordstrom here now. Yeah, you know what? I could get on board with buying the pullback in Nordstrom. I think that, if they say anything okay, could actually rally.
Hey, Dennis, I hit the guys up with a movie quote this morning for my pre-market prep recap article, and they didn't get it, but I want to see if you can get it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Just doesn't matter.
Spencer, do you know where this one's from?
They didn't know.
No, he already asked me. I didn't know.
I don't know either. This one's you're going off the board. You're going with something in the 1940s, aren't you?
No, that 70s.
That's why I'm not even born yet.
You love this guy. You quote him at least once a week. Does anybody in the chat know? Let's see if anybody in the chat knows. No?
Well, is he alive still?
Gotta give him
yes.
Yeah,
Robin got it. Robin Steckel. It was Meatballs.
Is that from Meatballs?
Yep.
I like that movie too. I should have
got
that
at
one.
Camp. I worked at that camp where they filmed Meatballs.
No, did you?
Yeah, it's up in Halliburton. It's up by your cottage, right? Or
Is that where it was?
Yeah.
Meatballs Base, Ontario?
Camp White Pine.
Halliburton, the place of black flies.
That's right.
You ever go to Halliburton in July?
Yes.
You'll never go back again.
Go
in August when the black flies are gone, because the black flies are intense, man.
3 worst weeks of my life at that camp. I mean,
black flies.
Yeah, but anyways,
black flies, and if you don't know what a black fly is, they're almost, you can't see them. They're so small, and you go outside and you're like, I feel like I'm getting bit, and that black fly, they're really small. You can see them, but they go and they bite you more than once. So they literally just crawl like you don't feel them biting you. Then you look and you got like 100 bites on you. It's like, oh, this is not much fun out here. So, anyways, once it gets hot enough, then they kind of burn off and they're gone. So you gotta get it hot enough. But they like the rocky area. Halliburton's very rocky. So, if you're going to go to Halliburton on vacation, wait till August and you'll be a lot happier than if you go like July 1st. I went out there the first weekend in July. And I was like, wow, these black flies ruined this whole trip.
Real quick.
Beautiful country, though.
Do we want to cover any of those ratings? I know we glossed over a few things here. Is there anyone that, is there anyone in particular? If not, we got someone new in the chat here, and I like that. Network Communications Technologies Incorporated is asking about CRE, and a bit of laggard here, trading up 6 cents. I mean, in this market, I just look at the monthly resistance here. If you're looking for a target, and that would be 52. I mean, you got high 51.35 is your high from November. 52. I mean, it's been a laggard. They need a catalyst. I don't know when they're going to report.
Needs a catalyst.
For short-term trading, I would use 48.50 as a target, because that straddles 2 highs from the 20th and 23rd between 48.55 and 48.66.
You're exactly right. It needs a catalyst to kickstart it. I mean, some stocks don't need a catalyst. They're already breaking out, but there's stocks, even like Cisco, you look at this one, you're like, I'm long this long-term portfolio, but it's kind of hanging out doing nothing. And it tries to participate a little bit there at the overall market rally, but it needs like a catalyst. It needs like a Goldman or somebody to come out and say, buy it. And then it could maybe break out of here. But there's so much bloody overhead supply in CRE, Cisco, these are just not the stocks that are breaking out. I mean, if you're thinking this big bull market, go to your all-time high list and see what's really breaking out, because that's when the stocks can really move. This is this has been a classic, really breakout market here, at least for the last month or two. And I don't see why that doesn't continue. So those are the easier ones to trade.
Jobs number tomorrow. I don't
That
really.
can influence.
Yeah,
That
I
could be a
mean that
catalyst in
you
the
know
market.
that's something to keep an
Yeah.
eye on, but it's going to be good. The unemployment.
Well, they'll interpret it good no matter what. They'll find a way to spin it. So even if it's bad, it's good. That's the way this market does. We spin wars to make them sound like they're good.
Yeah, just think if Iran attacked us again, how much the market would be up.
Is that not insane?
Yeah.
I mean, we just buy. Nobody died. So, and then there was reports that there was some people that died. So I don't even know like what to believe and what not to believe. But in any regard, we're very happy that it appears that nobody died in those attacks, but there were still attacks. And it's amazing that the market is so resilient that they just can't even keep it down.
We're also, just for tomorrow, we're also going to get FedEx, they do their annual economic update every year. That'll be
really?
Yep, that'll be tomorrow.
That should be interesting.
So
I got to be careful with FedEx.
Yeah, be careful with FedEx tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Should we do hot potato tomorrow, or we've taken a break from that for?
Yeah, we got some hot potato going. You want me? Is it my turn to make one up?
Sure. I hadn't thought about it, honestly, but yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Until you forget and you remind you at 5.
I did Disney, I did Canada before. What should the topic be? I'll take suggestions from the chat. Give me suggestions in the chat. I'm not going to say what it's going to be, but give me some suggestions on the topic.
All right, speaking of trivia real fast, just a quick PSA. If anybody has not been watching Jeopardy, you need to. They're doing a special contest this week and next week potentially. It's the 3 greatest Jeopardy players of all time. Ken Jennings, Brad Rutter, James Holzhauer are going mano a mano. They have to win 3 games each to win the tournament. And
when's this start?
It already started. It's every night until there's a winner. So it's tonight.
Oh, nice.
And so you need to.
Who won last night?
So James won last night. Ken won the night before that.
Oh, really?
And right, so they're going just until you win 3 essentially. So they're going to keep going potentially through next Wednesday.
Very interesting.
Or next Tuesday. But check it out. It's awesome. If you're a Jeopardy fan like I am, you should definitely watch that.
How's Alex Trebek? How's he doing?
I mean, I don't.
He's still hosting. He look okay. He looks okay.
He's still doing it. I don't know how great he's doing, but he's doing well enough to at least host this.
Any questions?
It's on
cover?
Questions from the chat.
No. Did we get any phone calls?
We got one again. I didn't get a chance. Let's do it. So let's do it today, and then if we want, we can.
They're more relevant today.
Discuss.
We can let Dennis go, and you can.
Here, you know what? Let me look at the.
You can.
He hasn't listened, so he's got to filter through to make sure.
Well, I'm just going to look at the transcript here. Oh, it's a question from Robin, and
Robin, we can do for sure. Robin,
sorry, it's from Yvonne.
Yeah, bring Robin in.
And the question mostly, she just wants to know how many other family teams are out there and how many people are teaching their kids. So if you're on the chat and you're teaching your kid, Yvonne wants to know.
Who was the nice lady that brought her son to the trading conference? I cannot.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Ooh, Brandon's squinting his eyes. He can remember. But I know that she took her son out of school for the day to come to the trading summit. And I think she listens every day. I'm not sure if she's around. But
if you're in the chat, let us know if you're teaching your kid about this stuff, because it's always interesting to us. And
I'll let you wrap
on that note, that will be it for our show. You can always catch a replay of our show on YouTube or our podcast. It's on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Thanks to our guest, Marc Chaikin. Thanks to all of you in our chats. Please remember, all the information from our show meant to be used as informational purposes only, not for investing or trading advice. Everyone have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll be back with you for our final show of the week on Friday.